Have you ever wanted to crochet yourself the most perfect handbag that goes with any outfit? Me too, which is why I came up with this pattern. By the end of today's video, I'm going to turn you into a bag designer. All you're going to need to make this is 2 hours, some t-shirt yarn, and some leather bag accessories, and of course this video. I got this leather accessory kit from Amazon. Of course I got it in black because I wanted to make a neutral handbag and I knew it would go with almost any color I picked. I have tried other various accessories from Amazon, but I like that these have the little gold things at the bottom. However, this one does have more holes than my original one that I made the pattern for. As long as you're following the same steps, you're going to get very, very, very similar results, just with maybe a few extra stitch counts. And this is the rest of the supplies you're going to need. And that is an 8mm hook and a 5mm hook. And this is the 5 to 7mm Bobilon t-shirt yarn. This is my favorite t-shirt yarn to use. And this is in the shade Ivory. I also have it in ice cream, which I love. Totally not related, but this is my cat Jewel. I'm going to be starting with my 5mm hook. All right, and you want to make sure that you have these little bottom things facing down. And this is where we're going to insert our hook. That is going to be one of our corner stitches, which is going to be an increase. So we're going to start the one right next to it. And we are going to be single crocheting. And pull through. And now I'm going to take the tail and we're going to be going around the tail so we don't have to worry about it later. And we're just going to single crochet for the straight. And guys, I promise this is probably the most annoying part of this whole project is anytime you have to actually put your hook through any of these like little holes. I assure you it does get better and you're gonna get to the point where you can leave me, go crochet while watching TV, and then come back to me later when you're finishing. And if you do watch a show or a movie and you want to recommend something to me, please, I need something to watch. I totally binge watched Mormon Wives and Love Island, but I'll watch almost anything. All right, we made it to one of our corners. So now in this corner, we're going to do an increase. And if you're doing a bag that has a different base that I'm not using, then just know that your stitch count might be off a little bit right here, and it might be off right there, but you are still going to have your corners, which you are going to want to increase at. So go ahead and keep going all the way around and don't forget to increase and meet me back at your last increase. Here's Jewel again. It's right here. You're going to insert your hook into your first stitch you started with. We are going to slip stitch. Oh, hold on. So I'm going to slip stitch right here, and now we're going to do row 1. And I'm going to go ahead and change my hooks to the 8mm. And since we are going to go up, I am going to chain 1, and now I'm going to insert into the next stitch. We're going to insert our hook And we are just going to single crochet all the way down. And you can, if you feel like you need a stitch marker, you can go ahead and grab one. Put one right here. And now we're just going to single crochet all the way around just so we have a nice base to work with that's the right size, using the 8mm hook instead of the 5. So just do that all the way around and meet back when you get to the stitch marker. All right, we made it back to the beginning. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker, insert my hook right here, single crochet, and this is where we are going to start our cluster. So we did a single crochet. We're going to be doing this in the same stitch. Now we're going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch. And now we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch. So this is what your first cluster is going to look like. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches. So this is our first stitch, this is our second, and we're going to be working right into this 3rd stitch. We're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to skip this one, and we'll be working into this one. And we're going to do that same sequence, so we're going to start with a single crochet, now a double crochet, or a half double crochet, and now a double crochet. All right, now we're going to skip 2, so we are going to skip, skip, work into this one. Same sequence, so we're just going to do that all the way down. Meet back with me when you get back to right over here, wherever that might be, and I will show you how to move on. And remember, it is a single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet into the same stitch. Skip 2, work into that 3rd one, all the way down. And you guys don't hate me, but my next part of the footage got cut. When I got to the end, I had 1 stitch left over, so I just skipped 1 instead of 2. And I started the sequence again where the stitch marker was, and we're going to repeat that for 7 rows. And we're starting the sequence everywhere we put a single crochet. All right, so you need to count. I already have my 7 rows, and I know this because you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now is the kind of the hard part. It might be hard for you, but we're going to take the top of our bag, and we have to mark where we're going to end up putting it. So to do this, this is what I did for my last bag I did, and you want to... So I'm going to use the bottom of the bag as a guide. So pretty much everywhere that we did straight before we did the increase for the corners, that's where it should be at. So I'm just going to make sure it's kind of centered, and I'm going to mark it with my stitch markers. You can mark about where it's going to be. So you can see this is where we're going to do single crochet. So from here to here, when we make it this far around, we are going to single crochet. So this is where we left off. So this is where we left off, and so I'm going to just single crochet where our stitch marker is. Single crochet right here. We're going to chain 1, and then now right here we are going to do a double crochet. And then now everywhere we have our single crochet, we're going to be doing a double crochet until we get to our stitch marker. I am going to go right here with our double crochet, and now I'm going to remove this and we're going to single crochet. And I'm just going to single crochet in all of my stitches. I'm not skipping anything. Okay, and we have one more. All right. And now I'm going to go back to a double crochet and another double crochet, and we're going to be meeting back up to where we started. So I think we just have a few of these. I chained one and I'm going to slip stitch right around this. Perfect. To where we can weave it in. I have plenty to weave in. You want to make sure the screws are going to be facing the bottom. So that's going to be the wrong way. Make sure that the right way is facing you. And we're just going to single crochet. Single crochet all the way. Oopsie. All right, so it should look something like this, and I'm just gonna slip stitch this all the way through. So it looks like this. And now we just have to assemble the top. And this is my leftover yarn, so I still have some left, which is good. And so far I have one tail, so I'm gonna go ahead and weave that in. Alright, so I'm going to make it where the bag can cinch. So to do this, I'm going to start with like some pretty long yarn. I folded it and now I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to attach it to each end. So pretty much where this starts, I'm going to do it about right here. So I think I'm going to come in like this. And I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot, and I'm going to weave in the shorter end, and you should still have a pretty long end. I'm going to repeat that exact same thing on the other side. And now you should be left with two long strings, and we're just going to weave them in and out between our double crochet posts and meet in the middle with both strings. And I am going to mark it again with my stitch markers, even though it should be a lot easier to find this time because it is where you did your single crochets. And now this time make sure that you have the screws facing up before attaching it, so that way the top piece is facing the right direction. And I'm going to be going through both loops of our main body piece for the first stitch and for the very last stitch. And for our top piece, I'm going to be going through our back loop, and for the main body piece, I'm going to be going through the front loop only, and I'm going to keep doing that all the way down until we get to the end. I think I'm just gonna go through this loop right here and do it one more time. Like this. Now I think it's good to go. I'm going to knot it really tight, double knot it, and I'm gonna weave in these two tails. All right, go ahead and shut it again. Last piece of our little puzzle. I like to just kind of put it in, and let's try putting it somewhere around here. This is like where the middle is. So I really want to keep it in the middle. And I like this. So this is probably where I'm going to keep it. Oh no. Okay. This is right here. So when I finally found where I liked it, I used something hard and I bent the metal so it's nice and secure now. All right, so that is where I settled on. Just gotta add our beautiful little leather. Now we got our cute little bag. So you can tie in all of your... And now we just gotta open up our bag and we got to weave in all of our loose ends. All right, so this is what we're left with. I guess this is just gonna have to stretch itself out. My other bags didn't come quite like that, but. All right, we did it. Our bag is done. And if you're anything like me, you're already thinking, what am I gonna make next? So go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the bell because you are not gonna wanna miss our next video. It's gonna be a tiny bag for a tiny human. And yes, it's just as cute as it sounds. Happy crocheting!